Football. Fantasy. Football. Fantasy. Football. Fantasy. Football. Fantasy.
When we got married, Carrie was 21, so she bought everything for us, and I was 16.
You were 16, and was that the first time you got drunk?
Yeah, the first time I ever got drunk was at his house off of Mike's Hard Lemonades.
Oh, gosh.
But when he was younger...
Freshman year, I went to your college.
When he was younger, he pissed me off. And he used to get Sunny Delight bottles.
Yeah.
And I just happened, I don't even know why I did, but I happened to have some Hennessy in the house.
Because you and Kyle were dicks.
Well, so I took one of his Sunny Delight bottles and put Hennessy in it. He didn't even know it.
No idea. To this day, I couldn't tell you what happened.
It was awesome.
So I want to tell the story so you guys can hear it, but I'll probably hear it a few times. But we were talking off the mics or whatever, offline about that comedy thing. So earlier, let me just tell you about my week, okay? So Monday night, I was at Bordeaux Wine Bar recording Premenopods. Then Tuesday night, went to Cole Street Brewery, recorded Holland with Hollenbeck. That one was rough. Now, the first one was actually pretty good because it was a closed event, and it was people that could just be a part of it and this and that. But the Cole Street, people were just walking in and out. And so it was kind of throwing things off. And then it's kind of more spread out. So it was kind of hard for that as well to kind of read the room. We had some people out there. Met Cassie and Johanna that they're listeners. Like, I don't think I've ever talked to them before. And that was pretty sweet to have that happen. Craig was acting like he was too cool for me the entire time. It was almost as if...
Welcome to my life.
Yeah.
Hey, who was the only one wearing your swag?
Yeah, I know. I felt like Casey Kane. And you were like dissing me.
So maybe you were avoiding him because you were like, ugh.
I was like going, oh, sweet, he's a fan. And I was like doing the whistle song, and Craig was like, what?
Yeah.
Why are you even here, even though I'm wearing your shirt right now?
I was just trying to impress Joey.
You were doing a good job of that. He came over and gave me a hard time, too. Like, hey, you're really struggling. You should have Joey talk. And then Joey's like, yeah, story of my life. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. God,
that 100% sounds like Craig.
But I had to edit out. I edited out a lot. Did you listen to the one or no?
I listened to the first one.
Yeah. The second one I haven't done yet.
Yeah.
But the first one I edited down because I edited the awkward pauses and this and that. So then on Wednesday, I sat with Jacqueline Morgley. I don't know if you guys remember Jacqueline Morgley, but she's doing her own podcast, Living Room Therapy. And so I was a guest. Well, I didn't know this. I got the times mixed up. I thought it was on at 5 with them. So I thought, okay, at 5 I'd get on there. And then Cole Street Sean was having it sounded like I call him Cole Street Sean. I'm like Cole Street, Sean. Cole Street Sean, you know what I'm talking about.
He'd be okay with that.
He was having a comedy night. And he hit me up like a couple days beforehand. Hey, would you fill in some spots? I'm like, oh yeah, what time does it start? 7:30 or whatever. I'm like, okay, I'll be there for sure, no problem. And then I realized I looked at the Zoom meeting wrong for what I was doing with Jacqueline, and I was like, oh crap, hey dude, between 7 and 8:30 I'm already booked. Like, they booked me like 2 weeks ago. Can I just come down afterwards? Oh yeah, no problem. 10 minutes, what do you need? 10 minutes? I can fit you in anywhere. I'm like, yeah. Like, I almost thought like I was doing him a favor as a friend, like, yeah, sure. I didn't want it to be a lame comedy night or anything like that for him.
I love how professional this sounds. Like, how much material you got? You got 10 minminutes?
Yeah.
You good to go?
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, just 20 minutes. I don't care. Whatever. I honestly thought it would be like me and maybe you and Carrie and like maybe 10 people, maybe max. Like Chris Drewley for sure, and a couple other people. That's it. So you didn't go.
I did not. I had practice that night. I couldn't go.
Piano practice.
Yes, piano practice.
No, he plays the organ, not the piano.
I do play the organ, jerk.
I was just telling him what the truth
Is that
was.
true?
It is true.
Did you pick that up in church? Like when you're at church, you're like 7 years old. You're
He picked that up at Grandma's house, so he was the favorite over me.
Did she have the double keyboard like organ, where the one on top
so
and the one on the bottom?
It's an organ, but it doesn't. It's not like what
I
people
say
say with the
organ.
pipes.
Say organ.
No. Anyway,
what is
it's
it?
not a huge one with the pipes.
Wait, a huge what?
Organ.
Already gone.
So anyway, continue your story.
He used to play at Christmas Eve.
What if you said it on the opposite? You're like, yeah, I'm going to Portland, Oregon, and then I'm playing the Oregon.
I'm playing the Oregon in Oregon.
Oregon. So I get down there. I wear my swim trunks. I get down with this thing. I'm wearing swim trunks and my Fullbuddy cast sweatshirt. I'm like, no big deal. Gonna go down there. It's at this point it's like 8:45. Like I'm probably not gonna see too many people. In fact, I probably missed most of the show, and it's probably gonna be wrapping up. I get down there, and it's got a good chunk of people there. Like he is at phase whatever capacity. Like he's not breaking rules.
Sure. You instantly regret your swim trunks.
I instantly regretted my swim trunks, especially when the guy didn't see me. I sit down. The guy who's talking is talking about how he's bald, and he didn't know what a thumb was. I still don't know what it is. He goes, YouTube it. He goes, but if I'm wearing a red shirt and red swim trunks, then I look like a thumb. And I'm like, oh crap! And I'm supposed to go up after him, and he is the headliner. Now I've seen this guy before. I've seen him at the Tacoma Comedy Club back when I used to do comedy. He would be there, and I've seen him at the Muckleshoot Casino doing comedy. I've attended a show or two of his, so I know this guy. This guy's good, and I'm like thinking to myself, "Oh crap, I'm up next."
How was he a headliner? You were the last. Sounds like you were the headliner.
Well, yeah, that was like everyone's like, "Hey, all right, thanks for coming out for Eminem's show. We got a local white rapper as well. He's gonna be. We're gonna give him 10 minutes." Like it was so awful. It was so awful. And so I go up there and I'm thinking to myself, I just got to tell funny stories at this point. Like, I'm not going to try and do any bits. I'm not trying to try anything out. I'm just going to go do, okay, what are some like funny stories from my past? One of them being from Safeway, where I had to clean up a bunch of crap. Did you ever work for Todd Broderick?
No, but he was gone right after.
I did.
Right before I got there.
Dude, Todd Broderick was the worst manager.
Gina was the one that took over when I got hired.
Okay. So he was just the worst for me. And he never said thank you. I cried in front of him when I was 18 because he would be like, tell me to do this, that, personal conversation, all that. He was harping on me.
You were having personal conversations?
Weird, right?
Yeah,
people talk to me. But anyway, long story short, or short story long, whatever, I didn't do great. I did okay. Like, I was okay. Like, if it was just timing. If I was there and I was put in like the 7:45 slot, then it would been it would have been perfect. It would have been fine. It just was, you don't go after the best person. And anyway.
Did you add the swim trunks and sweatshirt to the bit?
Yeah. Good. I don't know, actually, at that point. I was
you
so...
just recycled the joke. You're like, look at me, I'm a thumb.
Yeah. You guys heard of that before?
Yeah. You should Google it.
I just start doing his jokes.
You should just did the exact joke.
Well, these people, I had the most intimidating guy I've ever seen in my life on the right-hand side, right in front. Like you don't put this guy in a comedy. Like, he looked like he was mad that he was brought there. And he had like the cut, like not the cut off, like someone like cut his sleeveless shirt off, but it was like a Western shirt that was made sleeveless. Like, I was like, wow, this guy's super intimidating. And he had a hat and a goatee. And then the girl next to him was, I think it was his daughter, didn't eat her burger at all. So it's just like these guys were like not wanting to be a part of fun.
I think they were just upset it was still going on. They thought that had ended at that point.
Well, yeah. I was going to be out of here like 10 minutes ago.
That's probably what it was. I was the guy. So there's times where you guys go to church and it's like a long service and you're like going through the pamphlet and you're like, okay, wait, are we on the second song? Where are we at offering? Where are we right now? I've been checking these things off and now I'm kind of lost. And like, then all of a sudden it's like closing song. You're like, okay, it's just a song. And then it turns on to be, oh, we're going to have a prayer session at the end as well. And I was that prayer session that just showed up where everyone's like, no, this wasn't on the pamphlet.
Why is the opening act at the end?
The guy's doing announcements at the end. Hey, hon, come on in. Say hi.
Hi.
Jamie,
Hello.
this is, you know Corey Bentley? This is...
No, I don't know Corey Bentley.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you guys were...
She only used to tell me what to do.
I just told you to not walk around the far side of the check stands to come bring customers over to check.
Yeah.
Are you really... You critiqued him on that?
Yeah, because he walked
Probably.
this way around it. It's like,
I
just go grab a customer.
I tried not to check as much as I could. So.
I was gonna say every story I've ever heard Corey tell about checking, he hates it.
Yeah, no, it is the worst. It is the worst. And you never worked with Craig, but you remember Craig. We got another kid coming out here.
I'll get her out of here.
All right.
There's poor man's spaghetti in there.
Okay, I can't wait to go eat. Hey, can you say hi? It's Craig and
Hi.
Corey. They're brothers. She thought you were. Did you
Like,
think it was going to be
She's like-
Joe?
She's like, what?
Did you think it was Joey?
I'm sorry, Joe's not here.
It's not who I wanted to be here.
All right, love you. Bye. Go with mommy.
Bye.
She's got like super intimidated. She still thinks he's going to morph into Joey at any moment.
Oh, I got a wave. That's all I care about.
Oh, you got away. That's cute.
I'm not only mustache only right now. That's usually what happens if I just have a mustache.
People stare at you.
Yeah, we had a mustache bet for 9 months, and I was at Safeway with just a mustache checking out groceries with people.
He lost.
I did
Just
lose.
FYI.
You just had to shave it. Was it?
I was in a wedding, and I never met the bride.
How much did you lose?
I had to have the mustache.
Well, no, he
Well,
had
what I lost?
Yeah.
I had to go do a tanning salon.
spray tan.
I'd never been there before. So
How was it?
It was weird.
Did you get addicted a little bit?
No, I haven't been back since. But I remember they give you a clipboard and want you to fill out shit, and I was like, I gotta do this for a bet. I don't care what you do to me.
And they would not. So we went in there with him. I did. I mean, I think Jared was with us too.
Yeah.
But I went in there to make sure, and we walked in, and first of all, it's all women in there. For the most part, I know guys go in there, but this time it was all women, and they go, "Well, what do you want?" And he doesn't.
Yeah, he go
I go,
darkest thing.
Whatever the darkest is. Well, with his complexion, you probably shouldn't do that. I don't care.
They wanted all this stuff on the clipboard about like my skin type. I'm like, I'm pale and I have to do this for a bet. I'm not filling anything else out. It's like, it lasted 9 months where we both just had mustaches.
Well, how long did the tan last?
Like a week.
Yeah, not
Did
long.
it come off in the
Not
shower?
long
Yeah,
enough.
It wasn't that good. It would have been better off him doing a tan as a bottle. It would have turned me more orange than this did. But it was a drunken night. We made the bet, and we're both too stubborn, and so it lasted 9 months.
I'd still have
How many
it.
70 Ds of Hennessy did you have?
They were just in the mustache. I could just save them right there. The only problem was I was still in management. I was still in a white shirt and tie, and I was checking people out. And so my personality would still be like, people would come through with their kids. I'd be like, is that a good cookie? But I was just this mustache guy, like, how's your cookie, kid? For 9 months, we did that. It was disgusting. And the only reason I shaved it off is because I was going to a wedding in Nebraska for Michael House, who I graduated with. And he met his wife through the military, and I never met her before. I didn't want to show up with this like rapist mustache for their wedding pictures.
Right.
So I shaved it off, and I lost.
It was a good excuse.
Yeah.
I'd still have mine, so.
Yeah, you turn it into a beard.
Maybe,
Well, yeah.
maybe this is a 3-way bet. We start right now then.
I'm not shaving my beard at all. This is hiding the chins. I'm all about hiding the chins. So let's just jump right into fantasy football. Wait, did you have another story? Did I interrupt you? I feel like
Not unless
okay.
you want to talk about the
No.
Safeway stuff. But
Well,
we can
okay,
talk about
so,
it later.
okay. So here's the thing. I did the poop story for the comedy show, and that was where I was walking with Todd, and this old lady came up to me, and she was like, and him, I'm walking with him as a courtesy clerk, and he's telling me to go wash this little thing, that little thing, and this old lady comes up and goes, I almost broke my neck because of your bathrooms. They are filthy. You should be ashamed, and all this stuff. We're surprised, like, what's going on? So we walk up to that bathroom, open the door, and the lady's gone now, but yeah, sure enough, there's a turd laying right in the middle of the floor, and a foot has gone through that turd, and where you could tell she slipped and probably almost did break her neck. And then on the toilet seat, she had scraped off the turd onto the toilet seat. And he's like, all right, Travis, you know what you got to do. And I'm like, no, I hate this guy. So I didn't know what to do. Like a normal person would have probably like got the paper towels and like picked it up with the paper towels and used gloves and all that and put it in a bag and threw it away.
You just went right in there?
Dude, no.
I'll wash afterwards. It's okay.
No big deal.
That's why I have skin.
Skin's my glove. I got just a hot water bucket and bleach and just flopped that mop fully wet just right onto the turd and just started spreading it around. No clue how I was doing. And so probably made it way worse. So I was telling this story at the comedy club. Oh, yeah. And then I told, fast forward 10 years from that moment. And I'm like, the whole time I'm like mopping. I'm like, who does this? Who just shits on the friggin' floor? Like, who does that? And I just was so kind of mad about it. Well, fast forward 10 years, I'm now living in Auburn. I'm shopping at the Albertsons in Auburn. And I am a guy that always has to poop if I shop, whether it's clothing, shopping.
I hope you crapped on the floor.
Well,
I hope so.
So I am like, gotta go bad. I gotta go so friggin' bad. And so I get up to the bathroom. They only had one single bathroom. I go and it's locked. And so I pound on the door. Oh, I was in there. And I'm like,
yeah,
okay.
It was Auburn. Somebody's in there.
And I'm like, I know the guy fell asleep. It was a tweaker, homeless, whatever. I didn't even pay attention to the guy because after 10 minutes after the guy finally got out, now I'm clenching this thing inside of me, right? Like I'm 1 second away from just putting my whole finger in there and plugging it at this point, like a Looney Tunes shotgun. Like I'm just holding it in. And, this guy finally opens the door. I don't even know. I just do a swim move. Probably the best swim move you've ever seen in your life. Just out of the way, buddy. Like the guy's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, move. And so he moves. I slam the door, lock it, drop trow, swing my butt around, and just sit on the toilet like Dumb and Dumber and just go to town. And I black out halfway through. I mean, I'm seeing stars and I'm sweating. It's a cold sweat. And I'm kind of regaining consciousness again. I look over to my left. And I'm like, oh, man, that was crazy. So I look at my left. And, yeah, there's a trail that I've now left. And I just go.
I almost thought he was going to say he was a urinal. He just misjudged where he went.
Well, and so then I'm like, so that's how that happened, right? And so that got some chuckles and this and that. And people always ask later, did you leave it? I said, yeah, I left it. And so I'm not going to clean it. I'm sorry. I had to do that. It's somebody else's job. But so I told that story. I ended it, and it went decent. It hit the crowd. Again, should have been earlier. But you said you had some other poop Safeway story.
Well, I was on the other side of it because I was in management at the time, and so I was closing 4 to midnight, like the later shift. And so I get this call. My name was all over the intercom all the time when you're closing. You take care of it.
Corey, could you do Corey?
Yeah. Check or whatever. And so I get this call, Corey, can you come to aisle 5? And I'm like, I was down a couple aisles. I'm like, shit, what is this? So I start walking that way across the front, and I get to aisle 6.
You can smell something.
And I see this like figure running towards me, right? And so my mind back then, I was like, what the hell is this, some tweaker ass guy? And he's just booking it. And then I see on the ground, there's like a brown streak behind him. But then as I kind of focus in, I see it was like a special needs kid, right? So my internal monologue, and if you don't have an internal monologue, I don't trust you. Your thought process. So my internal monologue was like instantly, like I felt bad because I was like, oh, who's this tweaker? And then it instantly went like, oh my God, he's running so fast, he's doing good. Like my internal thoughts were like for this kid. But so he runs by me, and it was only like, this streak down the aisle, and I was like, oh, I wonder what that is. I thought maybe he like scuffed his shoes running or something like that. And so I kind of look and I realized that it was like liquid shit down the aisle. Oh. And then I go, I was called to a different aisle. This wasn't even the aisle I got called to. And I walk the next aisle over, and it's all the way down that aisle. Just a trail. Oh. And all the way back up the other aisle. And I instantly went, nope, I'm in management. I need a courtesy clerk. And I was like, you need to come clean this shit up because I ain't doing it. And you're going to take care of all this. But it was just a liquid trail
so
up an
aisle. So who's the poor kid? Did he
aisle.
hate you for the rest of his life?
I don't remember. There's so many people
that
I was in charge of. I told him to do it, and he did it. I don't remember who it was. But I wasn't doing it. Nowadays, I would have had to. Like, you have to be hazmat trained to do that shit now. Like, they don't even let them touch that stuff.
Right.
Back then, I was like, nope, not me.
Yeah, just clean it up.
But that internal thought process instantly changed when I saw who it was, and I was like, all right, let's do it. Okay, kid. But then I was like, this whole aisle, like the whole way,
right?
That was impressive. I bet I wasn't cleaning it up.
I got one more. I was at Donovan's store in Maple Valley. And him and I were walking. All of a sudden, we looked down on the ground. Like, it's right by the Starbucks, kind of in between File Maintenance and Starbucks. We looked down, and there's a human turd sitting there. So he did the same thing. He had a courtesy clerk go clean it up. And then we watched the cameras
to see who did it.
And it was this old lady in like a pantsuit. And just kind of walked, stopped,
shake the leg out,
shook the leg, and then kept walking. Yeah, gross.
I feel kind of left out. I worked at Safeway for a little over 4 years, and I had no poop stories.
Really?
A lot of the stuff was because, I was in management for 10 years. So I have stories of, there was a guy I gave a compliment to because he was sleeping on a bench and he surrounded himself with carts like around it. And I was like, hey man, this is a pretty good setup. I couldn't sneak up on you right now. You'd hear me coming. That's a good time. I'd talk to him.
Right.
I got to do my job and kick you out, but I'm not going to be a dick unless you are to me.
Right.
That's how I approached all of it.
Well, we had teenagers that would come in, and I was counting out of stocks. I was in management, closing.
I remember when
you
you came back.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I was there when you came back.
Yeah,
and you got, God, I can't remember her name to give you your
Julia Gulia.
Julia, yeah, to give you your
yeah. She got me everything.
Yep.
So,
so you worked with both of us at separate times.
Yep. So I'm walking through, taking on these teenagers. Tons of them, like Maple Valley teenagers at the time, they had no place to go, and it was. I mean, now they had a Fred Meyer and stuff. Here they were just in our parking lot every afternoon. They'd come in the store, they'd mob it. Well, I'm counting out of stocks at like 7:00 at night, which I'm supposed to do. Getting called up to check here and there, and these kids are just like outside, and so I walk up and I'm like holding the tells on, not even thinking. I'm just like talking with it with my hands. I'm like, hey guys, like, you guys got to get out of here, man. I'm tired of telling you guys this every night. And they're like, all right, man. All right, we'll be cool. And I'm like, I usually get shit kicked, at me in this one. They're like, yeah, no, we're cool. We're good. And I'm like, serious, you guys need to leave. Yeah, we're out of here. We're out of here. Just don't tase us. like they thought the tells I was this massive taser.
You just turn it sideways. Yeah, like I told you to leave.
And then after I realized that, I'm like, all right, well, you got to leave then. Totally played into it.
Every night you carry that out with you after that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That thing was going everywhere. Did you do the fake call the police on the cell phone?
I never threatened to call the police most of the time.
No, pretend though. But you see someone walking out, you're like this, like, yeah, they're gonna go green Taurus, and
most of the time, when I dealt with like shoplifters and stuff, I dealt with it like one-on-one, and I would like go straight up talk to, especially if they had like a cartload. Like I would try to make them bring it back in the store, like one-on-one. I made deals with certain people. Like if I thought it was something that wasn't like they weren't stealing alcohol,
right.
Like if they're stealing food and stuff like that, there's certain ones if I talk to them and bring it back in and make them like unload it and stuff. So there's times I didn't call the cops, and I would do certain things. But you had that, and when you're in management, you're there by yourself. You can do certain things.
So we're gonna start our own podcast. I just realized this now. We're gonna do our own thing. We'll move on to fantasy football.
I already told you we're gonna do our own fantasy football.
It's gonna be called Retell, and we're just gonna retell all the stories of retail. And
I could talk forever. I hit 20 years next March.
I'm sorry.
Exactly.
That's a mental condition.
It has caused me to be the way I am right now.
All right, let's talk some fantasy football. Craig,
is that what we're here for?
Yeah, Craig, thanks for sitting on the bench for that one for a little bit.
Yeah, his Safeway
I'm sorry I wasn't there as much.
stories aren't as cool.
No,
come on, no. So fantasy football. We're going to talk about the kind of like how your league runs it, because I like how you guys do it when it comes to how you guys figure out who's going to be, the buy-in, how you guys going to draft, and then as you guys roll through, we kind of hit on keepers last episode, so we're going to kind of skip over keepers. We're assuming everyone listened to the first one. If you haven't, go listen to it. But let's talk about your guys' league now. What platform do you use? When did you start it? All of that fun stuff.
You want me to go?
Go ahead. You're the one that got the platform running. So
it started basically because we were all playing poker together for. I'm sure he told us about it on the podcast before. We played 2 or 3 nights a week
at Craig's house.
At his house,
yeah.
And I had been playing fantasy football before, and a lot of them hadn't, and so we started just talking football in general. And it turned into I was like, hey, I do this. We should do this. And a lot of the guys were like, yeah, let's do that. So
another form of gambling that sounds fun.
And we're going into year 16 now. So that's how many years ago it started. And the first year we had 9 guys. We could only get 9 guys to do it. We had a dummy team that I set up with like the worst people I could find roster wise. And we set up a dummy team as the 10th team.
How old are you?
I'm 35.
So you were 19 starting this thing out.
Yeah, probably. I was super young.
Wow.
I mean, I've been going to his house since I was 16 doing stuff. So.
Right. Okay. All right.
So we set it up on Yahoo the first year with 9 guys. with that dummy team,
Well, what was the dummy team's name?
Miss Easy. And what's funny is they got 4 or 5 wins because the year before the Bears were horrible. So I put a bunch of Bears on their team. I think I put Kyle Orton in the Bears defense. And anyway, they ended up doing pretty good. That's the year they went to the Super Bowl and against the Colts, and the Colts beat them in the Super Bowl. So they got like 4 or 5 wins against people that year.
Wow.
As a computer team.
People are angry.
Yeah. Which I will say this, because Greg will make fun of me. The first year is the last year I won the championship too. I won the championship the very first year because I picked up Todd Heap against Jason Tim when he dropped him, beat him in the championship game.
And then everyone was like, "Oh, this is why Corey wanted to do it, Mister."
Haven't won again since 2005. Basically.
Got close championship.
I have
Second place.
second place 3 times and third place
Last
twice.
year was second place, right? You had the most points and all that fun stuff.
Last year I was in the Ass Bowl.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So anyway, we did 2 years on another site, and then I found this site called MFL, and it's myfantasyleague.com, and it's basically I can go in and customize the entire site from top to bottom. And logos, so I make custom logos and standings and all that stuff.
And
is
you
all
made that
custom
full body cast helmet.
Yeah.
Good. If you guys go check out the Instagram, you made it.
I am not a professional graphic designer by any means. I taught myself to do that just for fantasy football.
Right.
Like in our league, I started doing stuff for our league. I can do like 1/100th of what somebody can do in Photoshop. Like I'm not that great. I can just do that. I can find PSD things and I could edit them basically. And that's what I do with the helmet. I had somebody's helmet. I already have all this stuff saved. I can go and edit whenever I want. That's how I made another helmet.
Gotcha.
But we do that for all the leagues so that we use that My Fantasy League because I can customize the scoring and all the way the site looks and everything.
Yeah.
And we've been using that since the 3rd year, I think.
Is it live? Is there an app where? Because like the reason I like ESPN or whatever Sleeper's app is because
the only downside to that site is the phone. Using the phone is easier on Yahoo and like Sleeper.
Right.
There's third-party apps for My Fantasy League, which I use fine, but some people don't find it as easy as like a Sleeper app.
Right.
But they have third-party apps that were built for that I can pull up my phone and submit my roster right now.
So are most people in your league then watching with a laptop open?
I think most people are using their phones nowadays.
I think most people are using it. I mean, I use my phone. I don't have any issues with it.
I still do the site because I enjoy doing it.
Think
but I think most people use
the
their phone.
site on the phone.
Yeah.
So the app, you can get to the site on your phone on your browser,
Right.
or you can use the app. And you don't get to see, you only see part of the logos and stuff if you don't go to the full site that we put up. But I still do it everything year to year. And I just started doing, I try to do videos and logos and stuff like that. I haven't got fully into it, but I just put out like a video found some software and I tried it out just to do stuff with the league.
Like a video, what do you mean?
So I found this program that I can put out, basically record music, my voice, and my logos and pictures I make and put it all together, and I put it out there as an announcement. Like I wanted to tell people about rule changes and stuff I posted a message board, and some people don't go on the site all the time, but we have a private Facebook page, like the casino, the Madden one we have, right?
Yeah.
So we have that for our league, and so I made this video with music and stuff, and basically me talking about the rules that I put on the site, so people at least will hear what I had to say without going to the site if they didn't go to it.
So I'm going to jump in here real quick. So I'm a commissioner for I'm co-commissioned Joe Brassard, but I co-commissioned him.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm the commissioner of the League That Matters. We call it the League That Matters, and we have the trophy, we have the whole thing, everything that everyone has. But I think the thing that kind of set us apart was when we started doing. Well, it started out with ESPN. And ESPN used to do power rankings, so where you didn't really have to do anything as a commissioner. You could just click a few people if you didn't agree with it, because it would go by points scored overall. It wouldn't be your record, but you couldn't put someone who's 4-0 and put someone who's 2-2 because they got more points over it. So you'd have to kind of move people around and set out the power rankings every week. Well, then ESPN got rid of that, and so then I had to do my own power rankings every week. And so I was like, how am I going to do this where it's fun for everybody? And we created that Facebook page, made it private. So you can talk your trash, you can put your memes up there, you can do whatever you want. And that was a lot of fun. So that's a pro tip for everyone out there. If you got a fantasy football league that you're kind of wanting to make it a little more fun and everyone's on Facebook anyways, that's a good way to pin stuff. It serves a place of like texting it out and having to scroll through all the texts, or having to email and find that email where it has what's the buy-in again? I can't remember what the payouts are. I can't remember who the keepers were from last year. Like it's all
You get all that too?
there. Yes. Yeah. It's all there. The other thing is that we used to do the videos, and ESPN would let you do that. And you would sit there. They actually have like some mock-up, like podium that would be in front, and you do your thing. Well, ESPN partnered with YouTube. So if you would record with ESPN, they would shoot it onto YouTube. Well, all my dick face owners that were in the league with me would just report the content all the friggin' time. And so I'd spend like 20 minutes putting together this rule thing and making it fun and funny. And then next thing I know, it's being pulled because it's been flagged for content. And so I stopped doing that. What would you say that, because I'm sure you've been in a few leagues, what does your guys' league do that's different that you've noticed from other leagues? Like what really sets yours apart? And maybe it is the draft or the buy-in and all that. Like, why don't you talk about that?
Yeah. So I think, and maybe some people do it, but not a lot that I've talked to. When we go to do it, we started playing poker for our buy-in. And that was something we added
4 or 5 years
4 or 5 years ago. It hasn't been the entire time, but we decided we all love playing poker. Well, 9 of us like playing poker.
Yeah.
And
Kyle just wants to go all in on the first hand.
so we decided, hey, it'd be a good opportunity to get together, play poker, and we put the amount of money in that it equals out to where the winner would have their buy-in. Second place usually gets money, pocket money,
Yep.
and then it also pays for our website. Which the website's not expensive. It's
$60.
Yeah, so I mean,
a year
for us to do that. So we would do that, and the winner gets their buy-in, $200 buy-in, and they're in for the year.
and it paid for the survivor and for coach of the year in that tournament too.
Yeah,
So
and that's another thing we started doing. We did our survivor picks.
We start adding stuff.
We started adding stuff to get a little bit more money in pots.
Right.
Because typically in this league, I guess you want to call it the treasurer. I'm the one that holds the money.
Yeah, we made him the treasurer.
Yeah,
It feels good to have all that money brought to you, and then
yes,
and you actually spend it. I don't know if you do this.
you spend it and then have to find it how to pay people out.
Yes.
That's why I'm no longer holding the money. That's why I decided I have a deputy commissioner and a treasurer now.
You're like the first year it works because you're like, oh hey, you guys won. Did you want to like roll that money over to the next league, and then we'll just pay for that right now, and then you can, and then freaking August is there before you know it. You're like, oh crap, I owe like 8 people their buy-in.
Well,
Our problem was how much money.
Well,
it was
see, that's the
getting
thing.
to.
It became real quick because we can get in a little bit too. Because we do a lot of voting and rules. We can get into that a little bit. But one of the rules is we kept wanting to raise the amount of money we're putting in. So right now, we just had our draft. So I got this year we decided not to do Coach of the Year and a Survivor just because we don't know what's going on.
Right.
But any typical year, I'd have a baggie that had like $2,000 in it, and then I'd have a baggie for Coach of the Year, and then I'd have a baggie for the Survivor, and I got all this cash just like in baggies, so I could like pay people out at the end. It became like, so I don't want to know where this is at until like I have to pay somebody in December or January. So I'd like try to hide it so I don't know where I put it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Especially it's around Christmas time, man. You're like, hey, we're gonna go to Vegas real quick. You dip into that.
It's
thing.
right. That's right when people want to get paid out too.
Right.
Right to end is right around
as
Christmas.
soon-
They
as
want their
soon-
money.
Monday, after Monday, unless there's a Monday night player,
Right.
then it's Tuesday. I won the league. Can I get my money now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though I'll
Are
tell
you
you
sure
this,
you don't want to roll that into the next year?
even though I think we've made it, I mean, it is a substantial amount of money that we're playing for,
Right.
right? But the fact is, we have now, and I posted this on Facebook. If anybody's my friends, we have a 6-foot trophy to the winner. I mean, it's an enormous trophy.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah, it's huge. Then we also decided a couple years ago, we voted it in. Well, actually, voted in, but Corey came up with this idea. We have a WWE championship belt.
Nice.
That whoever gets the most points in the league gets.
Oh, it's whoever
Or best record in the
coach
league.
of the year. Whoever
Coach of the
finishes
year.
first gets the money.
We always had a coach of the year because, there are coach of the year that don't get the championship. Happens a lot.
Happens a ton.
It does. So we came up with this coach of the year that they have a belt they can wear around. And we also have a third trophy, which we call the Asses Trophy, which is actually a pretty decent sized trophy for a loser, but it has a horse's ass on it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And every year, whoever wins it or whoever gets it, the commissioner takes a picture, random pictures, either from Facebook or
Right.
somewhere
I usually
else.
stalk their Facebook now.
And everybody gets their picture on this ass trophy.
The
so
worst
now,
one I can find.
yeah, the worst picture. So now the person that takes this ass trophy home has
got
pictures of like
the
14,
worst
15 people, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing that goes along with these trophies is we've made it a point. It is very understood by our league. If any member of our league shows up at your house, the trophy either
Has to be
visible.
in eye shot.
Yes. Whether it is the 6-foot winner's trophy or the Ash trophy, it has to be somewhere to where anybody in the league can show up at any given time and find it.
Who's have you guys won the Ass Trophy before?
I have had the Ash trophy twice.
I've never been on it in 15 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have had it twice. But I've also been in the championship game 4 times.
As have I, but I've only won it once. And my original trophy was that Ash trophy. The first year we didn't have an Ash trophy, and that trophy was our championship trophy. And I took it apart and made the trophy once we got a new one.
So technically, Corey's never had the
Never
championship
had the
trophy.
big trophy.
So if you tell people about your season,
Because we do voting every year.
So we used to not, our consolation bracket, we used to not matter. Like if you finished, 5 through 8, it didn't matter.
you were just
Yeah,
done.
There was an ass bowl and there was a top end, but there was no bracket in between.
Right.
So this year it got voted in that we added in. You play during the weeks of the championship game, and then it affects your draft order now.
That's a
so
good
you're
idea.
basically trying to. If you win, you can win a higher draft pick, basically.
And I think everyone's kind of had that thought. Oh, this year we should do. I think you kind of like kick it around for a few years, and because you get the creativity going around June, July. You're like, oh, dude, it's almost fantasy football. What are we gonna do?
That's
this
why
year?
we vote way before that, so that
see,
doesn't happen.
That's one thing we do. That's one thing we do, though. I think that may set us apart. So we go into a area where everybody in the league gets to send the commish 2 rules that they would like to change. They don't have to, but they can send up to 2 rules. Then those rules get sent to everybody and they get voted on. And this is 15 years of rules. You got to remember. So there's a lot that gets voted down. I mean, I'm not saying we change rules every year.
There's a bunch that gets voted
There's a
down.
bunch that gets voted down, but it's fun because you get to see these rules, and you have certain people that after 14 years got a rule
Well,
put in
The
that I
league is-
voted against for
the
14
league
years.
is very traditional because I have all the stats from the entire years.
Yeah.
I have how many points you've scored the entire time we've ever
Right.
played. So everybody doesn't want to change a lot of stuff because it would alter, the history type of
Right.
thing. And so for years and years, we never had a flex position. And this is the
Ever.
first year it got voted
Dude,
in.
flexes are the best though. Now is it a true flex? Is it meaning that it's gonna be RBTE or WR, or is it gonna be?
It's only running back, wide receiver, tight end.
Yeah.
Craig was trying to do the opposite because he knew it was going to vote it through. So he tried voting through a super flex with QBs and kickers. He was trying to be a dick.
Well, it'll be there in 5 years.
yeah. But that didn't get voted through. Just the normal flex got voted through finally. So that's
Super
this
flex
stuff
with kickers.
I didn't want to flex, so I'm like,
Kyle wants to start like 3 kickers.
yeah. I go. If we're gonna do a stupid flex, which me personally I don't like it, but
Right.
I get it. I get
Right.
people that like it. I get there's a draw
You get
to
the
it.
3-headed monster. I'm telling you.
And I'm
Why
like,
I have it this year now.
yeah.
and I'm like, well,
Barkley, Elliott, and Drake.
if we're gonna do this, then I might as well just put in a rule to try to get it to
Yeah.
be the way I want it.
yeah, make it sabotage it.
that didn't work.
Yeah, that got voted down pretty easily.
So let's bring up kickers for a moment because a lot of people are now starting to kick kickers out. They're like, and I like kickers because to me that sometimes actually it sways a real game.
There's playoff games that I've won just because I had a kicker that made up the difference. So
Yeah.
I would never get rid of kickers.
So the way we have our kickers now in the league that matters is that what we do is we go, okay, you used to get points, 5 points for a 50-yard kick, 4 points for a 40-yard kick, and so on and so forth. But you'd always get like a -1 or -2 for a missed kick. Well,
For no matter what distance was.
no matter what distance. And so we flip-flopped it. So if you got 5 points for a missed kick, you'd get -1 point because you're probably going to miss that.
From 50
Further away.
Yeah, that's how we have it set up.
But if you're missing a kick from like the 10-yard line, that's a -5. If you're missing from, and we kind of, so it hurts more.
Yeah.
Do you guys have done kind
That's
of
similar. Anything from
We've done that most of the time. I think we start at -4 and then it goes down from there. And then it's only -1, I think, from 50 plus.
because we do now we do -1s also now for the extra points.
Yeah.
Obviously, because that happens a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
But no, the kicker position is, the guys in the league love the kicker position.
I do too, because I feel like you kind of look at an offense, you go, What offense is getting it to the 30-yard line and then they can't do anything in the red zone? That's the kicker that I want.
Absolutely.
So traditional leagues, a lot of people don't draft a kicker till like 14, 15,
Sure.
the last pick, right? There's guys that every year draft a kicker in like
8,
11, 12.
9,
and
10,
Kyle's drafted kicker defense number 1 and 2 with his first and second round pick before, and he won the championship that year. So
Really?
100%. It was bad.
it was disgusting, but it happened.
I mean, it was bad for everybody else.
Yeah.
So what we got for ours that we brought in, kind of the rule change thing, is because people are not always going to make the playoffs, and also in the league that matters, it's kind of like you and your spouse. Now it's not like the what's the show with Nick Kroll and all those guys. It was
League?
The League.
The League, yeah.
So in one of the guys, it's him and his wife kind of like trying to figure out. With this, it's no, wife has a team, you have a team. And so you're actually playing with everybody, 12 people, 6 guys, 6 chicks. Well, we got 2 single guys, so they're the married couple in this one. And anyway, you play your spouse twice a season, and we go 1 through 12.
Mm-hmm.
But because some people are probably not going to make the playoffs, we try to make it fun for them to try to win the week. Even in week 8, 9, and 10, when you probably know you're not going to make the playoffs, you can at least try to do your best to win the week. Do you guys have anything that kind of keeps that incentive going for those that may have, other than the draft pick?
It's not $12. We have a coach of the week. That's what's in one of those side pods is for the coach of the week, and it's $5 a week. Whoever has a high score gets extra $5 put onto their team. At the end of the year, it pays out because we also have trades. It's $2 a trade.
Yeah,
$1 from each team, and that goes into a pot. And so there's other ways to get money. There's money that coach of the year wins, and then there's money you can win as the coach of the week if you're the high score every week that can add up as you go.
Do you guys have any penalties if someone benches a player or plays a player that was a kicker or not kicker, a bye week or something like that?
We've had to add some pretty harsh penalties. I would
Red
say.
belly, like what do you guys got? Like caning, public caning.
Well,
No,
no,
yeah.
it's all money. The first time you do it, it's $25 instantly in the pot. The second time
Per
it's-
player or per week?
For the week that
per
you
week.
didn't do it.
Okay.
If you didn't start somebody, or if you start somebody,
Who's injured?
or if they just became out that Sunday morning, you're done also.
Oh,
Like
You got to pay attention.
You've been playing this league for 15 years. You should be able to pay attention. Now, if it's a game time decision and it's Monday night, we talk about it. We don't really
like either I play my wide receiver on Monday night who's questionable, or I play my Sunday receiver who I know is playing.
Well, that drops down to this. I tell you, Monday night, you can still pick up anybody else on those 2 teams. So if you didn't make that decision, you have to have somebody else on your
Gotcha.
team that you can drop to do it because you made that choice.
Or if you don't want to drop that receiver, you're spending
You're
$25.
taking the fine. And that's only the first. That's the first fine. This is within the same season.
Right.
Second time's $50. Third time's $100, and the fourth time we'll vote as a league whether you're going to be in the league anymore. Because after you've been doing it this long,
Yeah.
I
Get
don't,
in or
I
get
don't
out.
have time as the commissioner to
Right.
text you to remind you to start a player in fantasy football. Like
Right.
you should know how to do that by this point.
Right.
So if that happens the fourth time, we'll just vote. And which doesn't happen very often. We're out of that 9 original people, we're still have 7 original people from the 9 we started with.
Wow. It's good. When it comes to payouts, what's your guys' buy-in? How much? Just say it.
200.
200 buy-in.
Yep.
What's the payout to win first?
What was it last year? I think it was like, what was it, 12? Everybody chops the top 2, so
Most of the time, here's the
third
deal.
place gets back.
It doesn't
So that's
happen
200
all
off
the
top.
time, but for us, I would say the majority of the people in this league
Don't care about the money.
don't care about the money. It's all about the trophy,
Oh,
right? So,
okay.
I mean, money's not.
So
obviously,
they'll
it's
chop
nice.
the money,
Yeah.
but not the trophy.
Exactly. But
Yeah,
yeah,
don't
what
touch
was
the
it?
trophy.
It was
Don't
like
chop it.
a third place just gets their 200 back.
Yeah, so that's 200 off the
So
top.
fourth place gets nothing?
Nope.
Fourth place gets nothing.
Nope.
That last game, you
I-
need to make sure you
Yeah.
win to get in the money.
That's crazy. Because our fourth place gets their money back. Third place gets a little, like $10 more than their money back. And then people are in it, sorry?
There's just 10.
10.
It's been 10.
And the other thing for third and fourth place that fourth gets kind of screwed too, not only do you not get money, but you actually flop picks. Also, if you finish third, you'd end up with the 7th pick instead of the 8th. So if you finish in fourth, you're now dropping
You
to
still-
the 8th
they
pick
don't
also.
flip. Not in 3-4. That's the ass flips.
Yeah.
Really? So you kind of don't want to get fourth place.
No, fourth place sucks. I got fourth place 2 years ago.
I've got it once the entire time. Like, at least get your money back. But yeah, you're paying out $1,800 between the top two guys, basically.
That's
most of the
insane.
time they chop it. So most of the time you're paying $900 a guy. If they don't chop it, I think we were doing
12-6.
Yeah, I think
What's-
we were doing 12-6 if you didn't chop it, or 11-7.
So the buy-in for poker, how much is that?
So I make it up depending on what we have to pay. So I figure out the amount of money I need to do to fund Coach of the Week,
Right.
the Survivor, how much to pay the website, and then how much to pay second place in the tournament and the $200. And
So
then,
it's probably like a $70 buy-in.
last year I think it was 55.
This was 55 this
Yeah.
year.
So
That's 50 with a $5 bounty.
$5 a bounty, and then we had
bounties
and
too.
since we didn't do the Survivor this year and we had some extra money, we did 2 extra $15 bounties that were randomly in envelopes that people had. And then as soon as you put somebody out, you got their random envelope. You got extra $15.
I want to hang with you guys. I want to be in this league. So
There's a long waiting list.
well, you guys have a second league that you kind of
I run
play
a,
up?
yeah, I run a second league. The intention of the second league was always as a minor league.
right.
You know, I just
to
do
get to know people.
just to get to know people, to invite people in that typically weren't in the other league. That was one of the things we wanted to do. We wanted to try to have the most amount of people not in the big league in the other league, and we've managed to.
I think there's 4 of us still.
Yeah, 4 of us in the smaller league, but
But you got to have that to get to know. You want people to get to know the other people.
Yeah. Because we looked at it like we started this out like the winner of that league was going to be the next person to join our league. Well, what happened and what's funny about it is the very first winner ever of my league was actually Kellen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and but nobody left for like 5 years.
Oh,
and,
so he could never get promoted.
yeah. Well, and
We vote on it anyway.
and
but
he
that was the
kind I
idea.
think he kind of had some other stuff going on, so he actually didn't even keep doing my league, which that happens.
Right.
But so now it's just my league's just straight up, no keepers. Every year's a draw, just trying to find 10 people that want to play. And typically, like I said, we try to get people that aren't in the other league.
I mean, the purpose is to get to know people, because if you're going to get into what an our league basically is people that are going to be around for a while and hang out, because we see the league. I mean, it's fantasy football. Everybody plays fantasy football, but it's for the guys to stick around and be together. It's like a brotherhood type thing.
Right.
Of all the people that you were hanging out with 15 years ago, but everybody has these separate lives now. And one of the main things that bring us back together for all the events is the league, doing the league stuff. So that's why, if we're going to have somebody come into somebody that's going to stick around for a while
Right.
and hang out and do this stuff. So that's the only reason we do it that way.
Right. I think, honestly, fantasy football has kind of been that. I'm in like 6 leagues because of that. Got a college league, got a Safeway league, got a, friend league, got a family league. It just kind of keeps everyone together. So we're going to wrap it up, though, because we're getting to that time. So thanks for being on. Thanks for talking about it. And we'll obviously have you guys on a whole lot more, because there's a lot to talk about. Retell with Retell. I don't know.